What's up, guys? Today I got some feedback. It's a little bit of story of what happened today and really what I think could have been done better. So today I ended up taking a call in which I was given some coaching, some feedback of my own. It ultimately said that I have a teammate, two teammates overall, that feel like they're not supported and that I don't support them. I do challenge them, which I believe is a part of what I'm supposed to do, but that they don't feel supported. One of my number one goals is to support everybody that I work with, and in order for us to all to be the most effective. I'm always striving to basically create a better work environment for my team and the people that I work with. And so ultimately my goal, pretty much I achieve the opposite results. This is just a failure to communicate, right? I look at this two ways. There's two possible problems that could be here. Very simply, I'm either communicating really poorly, basically taking the wrong actions, exhibiting the wrong behaviors, or choosing the wrong behaviors, or I'm just triggering some insecurities, both of which are within my control. Lazy communication is just saying whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. Effective communication is taking a look at the audience and having consideration for the emotions of the audience, right? Of the person I'm trying to talk to. And ultimately working in a way or communicating in a way that allows us to achieve the goal or allows me to achieve my goal. And I've really failed here for a number of reasons. My initial reaction, several of them, first of all was to get defensive. It lasted a moment, maybe too many moments, and I didn't really respond that way. In the coaching session, it was very open, so I could have whatever dialogue I needed. Secondly, it was to request specific feedback. I think this is a critical thing for when you receive feedback, for you to have the chance to change. And thereby also, if you're ever giving feedback, do you give them the chance to change? Now I say feedback, this is ultimately just giving information back to somebody else. So that way they can be mindful of their actions, or we can come to a conclusion about how we want to act moving forward that hopefully eliminates this negative emotions. You know, whether it made you mad, sad, angry, whether it triggered your insecurities, these sorts of things. So while I'm talking about a professional context, it could totally be an impersonal relationship. I think back to times in which I fought about several different things with my partner, and ultimately specific feedback would give them the opportunity to change behavior, or give me the opportunity to change behavior. Generalized feedback is pretty much just garbage. Ultimately, I think it's just venting, right? And venting, while it'll help release the emotions that you have right now, it won't prevent them from ever happening again. So in order to maintain or achieve some effectiveness, a higher level of effectiveness, I think we need to give specific feedback so that way we can change behaviors, we can change actions, or we communicate in a different way. I was thinking about insecurities like tripwires, right? As you've seen, hopefully, movies, war movies, or movies in which somebody's moving through the jungle, moving through the woods, and all of a sudden they hit a tripwire and set off an explosion. That's exactly what it is when you trigger someone's insecurities, and you'll basically trigger an emotional response. And a lot of times, if people haven't done a lot of work in order to be able to control and understand their emotions and control their reactions and actions, then you're going to get pretty ineffective communication that follows. And you can also sour your relationship with that person. In all regards, that's just terrible communication, right? And so that's the ultimate key here, is that we want to give specific feedback so that way we can address what is exactly wrong, what led to this, what's the root of the issue, so then that way we can change. Because if we don't change, we'll just continue to get the same results. So while this happened to me, I get to choose how I want to behave moving forward, right? So ultimately, my plan, after processing all those initial emotions and initial reactions, is to approach this from a place of sincere apology. I failed my goal for whatever reason that is. I think it doesn't really matter what that reason is. I can own my actions and my behaviors and my communication, and I can make a change. I don't need to necessarily behave in a way that's not true to my core, but I can communicate in a way that's better for her. So this is an opportunity for me to take full ownership of the situation and basically go and seek that specific feedback. So that way I know what behaviors I need to change. Generalized feedback is just that. I have no idea what I would need to change or do differently. So the options that I have are pretty shitty if I want to move towards a more effective communication and a more effective relationship, and to strengthen the relationship for us to be able to work together better and really work towards some bigger goals. The goals that we both have, I'm sure. And this is regardless of context. While this is professionally and just working together, this is also personally, if you think about it. Your goals is in a relationship. It doesn't have to be your work goals or the goals of your team or the goals of your organization. This could be within your relationship. In either regard, what we need to do is, one, I think it's pivotal to request specific feedback, so that way hopefully it will generate a productive conversation. You better understand the other person and potentially their insecurities and potentially their triggers, and then you can avoid the tripwires. Additionally, we should be giving specific feedback, and we should be giving it timely. So that way we give our partner, give the other person the opportunity to change or to behave a little bit differently. So that way we can work together in a more collaborative fashion, or we can come together in a more collaborative fashion from the relationship standpoint to get where we want to go. So I hope this helps. It's a little bit general. Specific feedback is identifying certain situations that cause these negative feelings, right? And then kind of digging into those together. And like I tend to say, it's imperative to team up against the problem. You don't want the problem in between you, and you guys are sitting across the table in opposition. This needs to be a situation of teamwork, coming together. So go in, say, hey, I really apologize for any times that I've made you feel unsupported. Could you help me understand when I did that and how I did that? And I can do a better job moving forward. I can be a lot more considerate of your feelings when I know what they are. This is the same thing of not knowing a problem exists means you can't solve it. And this is ultimately how to communicate more effectively. This is a key part of more effective communication. So I hope this helps. You can't lose if you don't quit.